Right. So today we're going to dive into AI agents.
Yeah, AI agents.
And I think most people listening probably have a pretty good idea of what those are. But,
Yeah.
for anyone who's maybe not super familiar or who wants just a little refresher,
hmm
could you just give us like a quick definition?
Yeah, so an AI agent is basically a piece of software
Okay.
that can understand what you need and make decisions for you and actually interact with the world.
So it's not just like, setting a reminder or playing music. It's actually going out there and doing things for you in the digital world.
Yeah, exactly. So imagine you need to book a flight.
Okay.
You could just tell your AI agent, hey, book me a flight to LA next week.
Mm-hmm.
And it would go out and find the best options, compare prices,
Wow.
book the flight, and even handle all the payment stuff for you.
So basically like having a personal assistant, but like way more powerful.
Pretty much.
Okay. So that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
But it also kind of sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie.
Right.
So, like, why is this happening now? What's changed that makes this possible?
Well, a few things have come together. I think the biggest one is just the advancements in AI technology,
Right.
particularly in things like machine learning and natural language processing.
Mm-hmm.
So now AI is much better at understanding what we want and actually carrying out complex tasks.
And our devices are so much more powerful, too, right?
Exactly. So we've got the computing power, the algorithms, and now the data
The
to
data.
really make this stuff work.
Okay, so it's like all the pieces are finally in place.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it.
To make this AI agent thing a reality.
Mm.
Now, the article we're looking at today talks about how this could be even bigger than the internet,
Yeah,
which is a pretty bold statement.
it is.
So I'm curious to hear, like, what makes you think that could actually be true?
Well, think about it. The internet basically changed how we access information.
Let's go.
But AI agents could actually change how we interact with the world.
Like, on a fundamental level.
Exactly. Instead of us having to go out and find things and do things ourselves,
Right.
AI agents could do a lot of that for us.
So it's like shifting from being active participants to kind of being more like directors.
Yeah, that's a good analogy.
We're telling the AI what we want, and it's going out and making it happen.
Yeah, and I think that has the potential to change just about every aspect of our lives.
That's pretty mind-blowing when you think about it.
It is.
To really get a sense of what this could look like, the article paints this picture of like everyday life in 2035.
Oh, yeah.
And they talk about, you're wearing these AI-powered glasses,
Uh-huh.
and you just say out loud, hey, I need my carpets cleaned next Tuesday.
All right.
And your AI agent just takes care of everything.
Right, finds a cleaning service, books the appointment, handles the payment, all without you having to lift a finger.
It's wild. I mean, it sounds incredibly convenient.
Oh, absolutely.
But I also wonder, like, what are the potential downsides here?
Yeah, there are definitely some things to think about. I mean, one of the big ones is job displacement.
Right, because if AI can do all this stuff for us, what happens to all the people who used to do those jobs?
That's a big question, and it's something we need to be talking about now so we can figure out how to prepare for those changes.
Yeah, because it's not just about, like, losing jobs. It's also about, like, what does that mean for society as a whole?
Right. What happens when a huge chunk of the population is potentially unemployed?
That's a whole other conversation.
Exactly, but I think it's an important one to have.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So let's maybe take a step back for a minute and talk about the history of AI, because
Right?
the article throws around a lot of terms like reasoners and agents.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest, I'm a little fuzzy on the distinctions.
Yeah, so it basically breaks down the development of AI into 4 phases.
Okay.
You have the very early stages,
Mhm.
then you have reasoners, which is kind of where we were
Okay.
for a while, and now we're moving into the agents phase.
So, like, what's the difference between a reasoner and an agent?
So a reasoner AI can follow rules and make decisions based on those rules,
Okay.
but they're not really independent. They're kind of limited to what they've been programmed to do.
So, like a chess-playing computer that can beat a grandmaster but can't do anything else.
So it's Chakray.
Got it.
An agent, AI on the other hand, is more autonomous. It can learn from its experiences and adapt to new situations.
So it's like it can actually think for itself.
In a way, yeah, it's using what it's learned to make decisions and take actions without needing explicit instructions.
So it's like the difference between following a recipe and actually being a chef.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
So it sounds like this agent phase is a pretty big leap forward.
It is, and it's largely thanks to advancements in things like deep learning and natural language processing.
Okay, so those are the technologies that are really making this possible.
Yeah, they're allowing AI to analyze huge amounts of data and understand human language in a way that wasn't possible before.
So it's not just about like the raw computing power, it's also about The AI being able to like actually understand us.
Right, and that's what makes this so exciting.
Yeah, because if the AI can actually understand us, then it can really start to do things for us.
Yeah. Exactly, and that's where we get into all the potential benefits and challenges we were talking about earlier.
Right, like the job displacement
Right.
and
Yeah.
the societal changes and all that.
Exactly.
Okay, well, it seems like we've got a lot to unpack here.
Yeah, we do.
So maybe we should take a quick break and then come back and dive into some of those bigger questions.
Sounds good.
So before the break, we were talking about some of the potential downsides of AI agents.
Yeah, like job displacement.
Right, and that's definitely a valid concern. But I think it's also important to remember that technology has always disrupted the job market.
Oh, absolutely. Throughout history, every major technological advancement has led to some jobs being lost.
But it's also created new jobs, right?
Exactly,
Mhm.
and often those new jobs are better, more fulfilling.
Yeah, and I think the same thing is likely to happen with AI agents.
I agree. I mean, think about the Industrial Revolution, for example.
Okay,
When machines started doing a lot of the work that humans used to do, a lot of people were worried about losing their jobs. But in the long run, it actually led to a higher standard of living for most people.
and a whole bunch of new industries and jobs that nobody could have even imagined before.
Exactly. So I think we need to approach this AI revolution with a similar mindset.
Like not just focusing on what we might lose, but also on the opportunities that it could create.
Yeah, exactly, because I think the potential benefits of AI agents are huge.
Okay, so let's talk about those benefits for a minute.
Sure.
Like, what are some of the things that AI agents could do for us
Mhm.
that would actually make our lives better?
Well, I think the biggest one is just freeing up our time and mental energy.
Okay, so,
So think about all the little tasks that you have to do every day, things like scheduling appointments, booking, travel, making reservations.
yeah, that stuff can be such a time suck,
Exactly. And it's not even just the time it takes, it's also the mental energy it requires.
right? You have to like think about all the options and make decisions and remember to follow up and all that.
Exactly. It can be really draining, and that's where AI agents come in.
Okay, so the AI agent would just handle all that stuff for us.
Exactly. You just tell your AI agent what you need, and it would take care of everything.
So we'd have more time and energy to focus on the things that really matter to us.
Exactly, like spending time with loved ones, pursuing our hobbies, being creative.
The article actually calls AI agents the bicycle for the mind.
I love that analogy.
Me too.
Yeah.
It's so perfect because it's like, just like a bicycle can help us travel further and faster.
AI agents can help us think better and achieve more.
I think that's a really powerful way to think about it.
It is, because it's not just about convenience, it's about augmenting our own capabilities.
So it's like AI isn't replacing us, it's helping us to be better versions of ourselves.
Exactly, and I think that's what makes this so exciting.
Okay, so we've talked about the potential downsides and we've talked about the potential benefits,
Right.
but I think the big question now is like, what does this actually look like in practice?
Yeah, like how are AI agents going to change our everyday lives?
Right, because it's one thing to talk about it in theory, but it's another thing to see how it actually plays out.
Absolutely. So let's maybe try to paint a picture of what a day in the life with AI agents might look like.
Okay, I like that. So let's say it's like 10 years from now, 2035.
Okay.
You wake up in the morning, you put on your AI-powered glasses,
Which, by the way, are super stylish and comfortable.
of course, and you say, hey, I need to get to work by 9 a.m.
And your AI agent immediately checks traffic, finds the best route, and even orders you a self-driving car.
while you're brushing your teeth.
Exactly. And while you're in the car, your AI agent can brief you on your schedule for the day, remind you of any important tasks.
And maybe even like play you a podcast or something.
Yeah, or read you the news, whatever you prefer.
So you get to work, and your AI agent has already prepared all the materials you need for your meetings.
And it's even analyzed the profiles of the people you're meeting with and given you some talking points.
Wow, so you can just walk in and be super prepared and confident.
Exactly. And then after work, your AI agent can help you plan your evening. Maybe recommend a restaurant to try or a movie to watch.
And if you need to buy anything, your AI agent can find the best deals and even place the order for you.
And it can even handle things like paying bills, managing your finances, and scheduling appointments.
So basically, it takes care of all the boring stuff so you can focus on the things you actually enjoy.
Exactly. And that's just one example. There are so many other ways that AI agents could potentially change our lives.
Yeah, it's pretty mind-blowing when you think about it.
It is, and we're just scratching the surface here.
Right, because this technology is still in its early stages.
Exactly. Who knows what kind of amazing things AI agents will be able to do in the future.
Okay, so let's say I'm totally on board with this AI agent thing.
Okay,
What can I do now to prepare for this future?
that's a great question. I think the most important thing is to be open to change and willing to adapt.
Because this is going to change everything, right?
It is. And the people who are able to embrace those changes and learn new skills are going to be the ones who thrive.
So it's like we need to become lifelong learners,
Exactly. Because the world is going to be changing faster and faster.
and we need to be able to keep up.
Yeah. And I think another important thing is to focus on developing the skills that AI can't replace.
Like what kind of skills?
Things like creativity,
Yeah.
critical thinking, problem solving, emotional intelligence.
So basically the things that make us human.
Exactly, because those are the skills that are going to be in high demand in the future.
Okay, so be open to change, be a lifelong learner, and focus on developing your human skills.
Exactly. I think that's a good recipe for success in the age of AI.
I like it, yeah. That's great advice for anyone who wants to kind of stay ahead of the curve,
Yeah, definitely.
with all these changes happening.
Mm.
So we've talked a lot about the practical stuff,
Right.
but I think it's also worth taking a minute to think about, like, the bigger picture.
Okay.
Like, what does this all mean for, like, humanity as a whole?
That's a big question.
It is, but I think it's an important one.
I agree. I mean, if AI is going to be playing such a big role in our lives, we need to be thinking about what that means for our values, our relationships, our sense of purpose.
It's like almost like a philosophical question,
It is, and there's no easy answer.
but I do think it's worth asking.
Absolutely, because the choices we make now are going to shape the future.
Yeah, and those choices aren't just about technology. They're about, like, what kind of world we want to live in.
Exactly. Do we want to use AI to create a world where everyone has more opportunity and freedom?
Or do we want to end up in some kind of dystopian future where the machines are in control
Right. And I think that's why it's so important to have these conversations now.
to make sure we're heading in the right direction?
Yeah, because the future is not predetermined.
We have the power to shape it.
Exactly. And that's a pretty exciting thought.
It is. It's also kind of daunting.
It is, but I think it's more exciting than daunting.
Okay, I like that attitude.
Yeah, I mean, we're living in a time of incredible change and innovation.
And who knows what the future holds?
But I believe that if we use AI wisely,
Mm-hmm.
it has the potential to make the world a much better place.
That's a great note to end on.
Yeah, it is.
So to wrap things up, AI agents are coming. They're going to change everything.
But that's not necessarily a bad thing.
Exactly. It's all about how we choose to use this technology.
And how we choose to shape the future.
So let's be thoughtful, let's
Yeah.
be intentional, and let's make sure we're using AI to create a world that we're all proud to live in.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
All right. Thanks for joining me for this deep dive.
It was my pleasure.
Until next time, keep diving.